Chapter 37 of Jin Ping Mei Chongzhen edition of Embroidered Portraits. Feng's mother said that she would marry Sister Han Ai, and Simon King Bao took Wang Liuer. The word says, light makeup and various styles, more frequent return to the eyes. Then he recognized the heart of Kinan promised at first, and he and Wan Haoan were both together. I remember that the romance in Huading was welcoming, with a light smile and a helpless look towards the sleeping duck beside the stove. In the Xiangluan screen, I secretly stole the fragrant luo. It is said that Simon King sent Kai Zhuangyuan and Jinshi. One day, I was riding a horse and wearing a gauze and was passing by on the street. I bumped into Feng's mother. I stopped the boy and asked her, "What happened to the woman you were looking for? Why didn't you reply?" The mother-in-law said, "In the past few days, although I have seen a few, they are all meat sellers. How can I reply to you? I don't want to let others have their own way. There is a daughter in front of me, and I can't think of it. She is very talented and belongs to the horse. Yes, it's 15 years old in the new year. If it hadn't been for hitting him on the doorstep yesterday and his mother inviting me in for tea, I wouldn't have seen him. I just hung my head and wore a cloud bun. It was as straight as a pen. His body, his feet are a little tangled. His face is heavily painted, and his mouth is a little bit like a ghost." His mother said that he was raised on the Dragon Boat Festival in May, and his nickname is Sister Ai. "Don't say we love each other. Even when I meet you, I love you so much." Simon King said, "Look at this Feng mother. What do I want from him? There is a good boy at home. Let me tell you the truth. This is Father's Ai, the great housekeeper of Mr. Kai Teishi's house in Tokyo. He wants to become a second wife and wants to grow up. He asked me to find him for him. If you get married with him, I will take care of things at your own expense." Because he asked, "Whose girl is it? Ask him for a jangtier and let me see it." Feng's mother said, "Whose girl is she from? I'll teach you, old man. It's just that it's far from 1,000 and as close as one brick. It's not someone else. It's you. I'm a girl who owns a Korean knitting company. You, the old man, want to see each other. When I tell him, I'll ask for a post and we'll date you on the next day. You can just go there." Simon King ordered, "That's it," and told him that if he is willing, he can come to the house and answer me after asking for a post. The woman agreed and went. 2 days later, Simon King was sitting in the front hall. Suddenly he saw Feng's mother replying. He took the post and showed it to Simon King. It read, "Han's name, female life, 15 years old. Born on the 5th day of the 5th lunar month." He said, "I told your old man what you said to him, and he said, 'It's pity for me, but my children are also good. But my family is poor and I don't have much preparation.'" Simon King said, "You said to him, it doesn't cost him anything. I will prepare all the clothes, jewelry, dowry boxes and other items for him here. I will also give him 20 taels of money as a gift. I will just teach him how to make girls' shoes and feet." During the period, he even taught me how to send him to Tokyo. With him as a roommate, Butler's Eye wants to help him grow up and become a wife. It's rare for his daughter to give birth to a boy and a half girl, and he doesn't have to worry about being rich. Feng mom said, "Where is he? I want you to come over and see me, so I can prepare." Simon King said, "Since he agreed, I'll go over and have a look tomorrow. He wants it urgently." So I told him, "Don't ask for it. Whatever he prepared." I only had a few minutes of tea and then got up. Mother Feng said, "Master, you are so strange that this old man comes to visit you. Although you don't care about him, you just want to sit there for a while. I have no time to teach you that this old man is here." Simon King said, "You are not. You don't know that I have something to do." Feng's mother said, "Since he is wait for me to tell him." On the one hand, he went to the country of Handao first, to his wife Wang Liuer, and Simon King he said it all over again. "Tomorrow, after he has left the office, I will come over to see you. I will teach you some preparations." He only had tea for a minute, and then got up after looking at it. Wang Liuer said, "What a shame, Mom." "Don't lie," Mother Feng said. "You are the head of the family and I can't coax you. He has a lot of troubles. People in the family come and go, and they keep talking." The woman listened and made arrangements. After having wine and food with my mother-in-law, I sent her away and will serve her tomorrow morning. In the evening, Han Daoguo came home, and the woman discussed it with him. I got up early and asked for a load of sweet water from the well. I bought some fine nuts and kept them at home. I also went to the shop to do business. He left his wife at home, put on heavy makeup, and dressed up in a smart way. He washed his hands and picked his nails, wiped the cups clean, peeled off the nuts, drank some good tea and waited. Mother Feng came first to encourage her. Simon Kingyaman dispersed. When he got home, he changed into civilian clothes and wore gauze on his horse. Diane and Qin Tong followed him. They came straight to Handao country and dismounted from their horses. Feng's mother quickly invited her to sit inside. After a long time, Wang Liuer led her daughter Ig out to meet her. This Simon King does not look at his daughter, but only looks at the woman. I saw that he was wearing a purple silk coat, black satin and gold armor, and his feet were clearly visible under the jade skirt. She has a long figure, a purple-colored melon face, and a long mustache. Exactly, I don't know what's going on inside, but let's first look at his makeup. But see, flooded and moisturized, no makeup applied. The body is natural and charming, curling up and down, lazuli stained with plum blossoms. The body is calm and beautiful. The curved eyebrows draw distant mountains, and a pair of eyes are like autumn water. The sandalwood mouth is lightly opened, seducing the bees and butterflies into chaos. The slender waist is restrained, with a hint of moonlight charm. If he hadn't stolen the date of Kui's daughter, he would have heard about Seijuo Wenjin. When Simon King saw it, his heart was shaken and he couldn't stop. He didn't say anything, but secretly said in his heart, "It turns out that there is such a woman in Han Daoguo at home. No wonder those people fooled around with him the day before yesterday." He also saw a child born to his girl, showing character. He thought to himself, his mother gave birth to such a character, and his daughter has a bad thing? The woman paid her respects first, and taught her daughter Ig to turn around, look up at Simon King, and kowtow to Simon King. He stood up and stood beside him. Mom quickly brought out the tea. The woman wiped off the water stains on the cup with her hands and asked him to hand it over. Simon King looked up and down at this woman, dark clouds over her mustache, cheeks filled with pink and white flowers, a graceful attitude, and tender and fragrant skin. He ordered Diane to take out the brocade handkerchiefs for gold rings and 20 taels of silver from the felt bag, and asked his mother to place them on the tea tray. His mother hurriedly put the ring on her daughter's hand, thanked her, and went back to her room. Simon King said to the woman, 2 days later, I will take your girl to the house and cut clothes with him. With the money, you can make some shoes and feet for him at home. The woman quickly kowtowed and thanked her. Our heads and feet all belong to our eldest father, and he has to worry about the children. Even if we and I kill ourselves, it will be hard to repay eldest father. Thank you again for your generous gift. Simon King asked, Brother Han not at home anymore? The woman said, he spoke in the morning and went to the shop. Tomorrow I will teach him to go to the house and kowtow to his father. Simon King saw that the woman was talking obediently, saying that it was just his father who was older than his father. His mind was moved, and before going out, he said to him, I'll go. The woman said, sit down again. Simon King said, I won't sit down anymore. So he went out. I kept coming home and reported the above matter to Wu Yunyang. Yunyang said, it is also a long-distance marriage. Since this girl is good, it's also a trouble for us. Simon King said, I will pick him up and stay with him for 2 days tomorrow, so that I can tailor clothes with him. Now I first take 10 taels of silver and give him half a pair of headbands and hairpins. Yunyang said, do it as soon as possible. I will teach him the day after tomorrow, and I will send it to him. We don't need anyone here. Simon King said, it's okay to close the shop for 2 days. If you still come here to protect me, let me ask you in the house. Didn't you send the gift to Kai's consort at the provincial level the day before yesterday? Stop talking nonsense. 2 days later, Simon King sent a servant to pick up the Han family's daughter. His mother, Mrs. Wang, bought a gift and sent it to him personally. She kowtowed to Yunyang and everyone else when he came in, and said, every time the eldest father, aunt, and other mothers lift the child, we and I can't understand how much trouble they put into lifting the child. First serve tea in Yunyang's room, and then take care of her in the open room. Li Jiar, Meng Yulu, Pan Jinlian and Li Ping'er were all sitting with them. Simon King bought 2 pieces of red and green loose silk and 2 pieces of cotton silk with him to make linings with him. He also called tailor Zhao to make him 2 sets of gold-woven satin clothes and a bright red satin robe. His mother, Wang Lior, comforted her daughter and went home at night. Simon King bought him another half of the dowry, including gold-painted cages, mirrors, mirror frames, boxes and jars, copper and tin basins, clean buckets, fire racks, and other items. Not only in one day, everything was well managed. I wrote a letter and decided to get up on the 10th day of September. Simon King asked the county for quick soldiers, and then assigned 2 platoon troops to carry bows and arrows with them. Libo and Han Daoguo hired for headmen to secure the vehicles and warm sedans, and sent them to Tokyo without mentioning anything. The missing Wang Lior was at home. He went out and cried for 2 or 3 days. One day, Simon King had nothing to do and came to the Lion Street house on horseback to watch. Mother Fang came to hand over tea, and Simon King gave her a tale of silver and said, "The day before yesterday, I was tired of you because of the child's affairs. With these tales of silver, you can buy some cloth to wear." The mother-in-law kowtowed quickly in thanks. Simon King asked again, "Didn't you go to his place for a walk in the past 2 days?" Fang's mother said, "I didn't go to his place to sit with him that day, since his daughter left. There is no one at home. My mother was used to him, and she cried for 2 or 3 days. And only in these 2 days did she calm down a bit." He also said that the child was tired because of the many things he had to do, and asked me, "Did Dad ever give you any hard-earned money?" He said, "The old man is busy with his affairs, and I haven't been there for days. How dare I compete with him? Maybe he can wait for his official to come back and thank me profusely." Simon King said, "I must have something when I come back. I can't thank you enough." After saying this, seeing no one around, Kiao Kiao whispered in the ear of the old woman, "When you have time, go to his place and talk to him out of the blue. Just tell him about me. I want to sit with him for half a day in my free time to see if he is willing. I will come back tomorrow to ask for an answer." The woman covered her mouth and sneered, "Your daughter is a cobbler who is sitting at home. Go to whoever you find." I poked out a silver doll with a spade, and I still want to find his mother-in-law. Later at night, I will slowly say to him with a straight face, "Dad, you still don't know that this woman is our queen. The sister of Wang Tu, the street slaughterer, is called 6th sister. She is born in the year of snake. She is 29 years old. Even though she is well-dressed, she has never lost her virginity. You old man, come tomorrow and wait for me to ask him a question. I'll get back to you." Simon King said, "Yes." After that, he rode home. The mother-in-law cooked and ate, locked the door, and slowly came to the woman's house. The woman opened the door and let him sit in the room. She said, "I made some noodles yesterday and waited for you to come and eat them." The woman said, "I have to come. There are many things to do when I go to someone else's house. My legs are stuck and I can't move." The woman said, "You can eat some of the hot rice and stir-fried gluten that I made just now." The woman said, "Here is the rice just for me. Sip some tea." The woman said then he ordered a cup of tea and handed it to him. Watching the woman eat, the woman said, "Look at how miserable I am. I have an enemy, so I depended on him. Since he left, this house has been messed up, empty. Everything looked at me. It made my nose black and my mouth black, making me look like a human. It would be better for him to die and have his intestines torn out. It seems that I am far away from home. Please teach me this. How can I let it go? Even if I want to see him urgently, I can't." As he said this, he cried with sore eyes. The mother-in-law said, "I can't say it. Since ancient times, the house where children are raised has been hot, and the house where women are raised has been deserted. Even if you are 100 years old, you will still belong to that family. If you complain like this now, tomorrow, your sister will come to the house with hard feet and give birth to a child, a boy and a half girl. You and your wife can benefit from it. So don't say that I am old." The woman said, "The business of adults is 3 floors large and 2 floors small. What do you know? When he grows up, we don't know where to show off the scum. The bones are gone." The mother-in-law said, "How can you say so? Your sister is not smarter than that one. How can you worry about being a female worker? Each of you is a nanny and has food and clothing, so you are worried about him." The two of them said one sentence at a time, and that was enough. After waiting for a long time to see if she could make it to Hong Kong, the mother-in-law said, "Every time I say something stupid, your officials are not around, and you are all alone. You are alone at night. Are you not afraid?" The woman said, What's more, it's all you who made me do this. Are you willing to come and be my companion at night?" The mother-in-law said, "I'm afraid I won't be able to come at the moment. I will sponsor someone to be your companion. Are you willing?" The woman asked. "Who is it?" "Lord, the eldest father in the house came to the house over there yesterday and said to me like this, 'He went to see the child and left you in the cold. He wants to come and sit with you for half a day. What do you say?' There is no one here. If you and you get along with him, you will have no food, clothing, food or supplies. When you get used to it, I will find a house for you tomorrow. It will be better than living in this secluded village." The woman listened. He smiled and said, "There are several wives in his house who are similar to Shinto, and he is willing to want an ugly guy like me." The mother-in-law said, "Why do you say that? Since ancient times, beauty can be seen in the eyes of Taoist lovers, and it is also your fate to come here. It just so happened that he was so idle that when he wasn't paying attention to you, he was so willing to come to my house yesterday to talk to me. He also gave me a couple of coins and said that I was tired of the child's affairs. The day before yesterday, no one was round when he was lagging behind, so he just talked to me. Teach me to tell you, if you are willing." He is still waiting for my reply. "If your family is willing to sell the land, I must lie." The woman said, "Since I am looking down, I will invite him over tomorrow, slave. Wait here." The woman vomited when she saw him and sat back. The next day, Simon King came and told the woman everything she had to say. Simon King was overjoyed and hurriedly weighed a tael of silver with Feng's mother and used it to prepare a banquet. When the woman heard that Simon King was coming, she tidied the room, burned incense, and set up a tent, and prepared good tea and water. After a while, the mother-in-law bought a lot of rice, vegetables and fruits in a basket and came to the kitchen to arrange them for him. The woman washed her hands, picked off her nails, and baked another handful of flour cakes. In the bright room, the tables and chairs are wiped clean. It was about the afternoon of Simon King's appointment. He was dressed in plain clothes and wearing a gauze, followed by two young men, Diane and Chess Boy. They walked to the front of the door, dismounted and went in. He ordered the horse to be returned to the house on Shishi Street and picked him up in the evening. Only Diane agreed. Simon King went to the Ming room and sat down. After a long time, the woman dressed up neatly and came out to pay her respects. She said, the child was tired and the father had to worry so much the day before yesterday that it's hard to explain in words. Simon King said, "I'm not going anywhere for a while, so you can't complain." The woman said, "This family is a great favor. There is no reason to complain." He kowtowed for times. Mother Feng brought tea, and the woman chose the tea. Seeing that the horse had gone back, Diane closed the door. The woman sat with him for a while and asked him to come into the room and sit on the king bed in the compartment with a paper window on the front. There are four hanging screens of various colors of silk and flowers, and the table is piled with makeup, mirror frames, boxes and cans, and tin utensils. There are sticks of incense stuck in the ground. There is a dung po chair on it. Simon King sat down. The woman ordered a cup of tea with walnuts and salted bamboo shoots and handed it over to Simon King, who ate it. The woman took the cup, sat with him on the edge of the king below, and asked about the family life. Simon King saw the woman carrying the tray by herself and said, "It would be better if you had a child here." The woman said, "To be honest with you, since my daughter has passed away, everything has been inconvenient. I have to do it myself." Simon King said, "It doesn't matter. Tomorrow I will ask Old Feng to look after a girl of 13 or 14 years old for you, and replace her hands and feet at will." The woman said, "I have to come from my family too, and there is no need for someone who is traveling here and there. Young Feng's mother is looking for a child to be a messenger." Simon King said, "No need. How much money should be given? Wait for me and him." The woman said, "Why bother you, old man, again? I don't have to worry about you, old man." Simon King was very happy when he saw that he could speak. When Feng's mother came in to set the table, Simon King told him about looking for a maid. Feng's mother said, "Since Dad has promised you, thank you. Sister-in-law Zhou in the south has a 13-year-old child. She only needs 4 taels of silver. Please teach Dad to buy it for you." The woman hurriedly said blessings to you. After a while, the dishes and vegetables were put down and the wine was sifted. The woman poured a full cup and handed it to Simon King with both hands. Just as he was about to kowtow, Simon King quickly pulled him up with his hands and said, "I've already seen you in my head, so there's no need to bow again. Just say goodbye." The woman smiled and said blessings, and a little boy sat down next to her. Down, the mother in the kitchen serves the rice and fruits one by one. There were 2 more soft pancakes. The woman picked up the shredded meat and vegetables with her hands, rolled them up, held them on a small butterfly, and handed them to Simon King to eat. The 2 of them were in the room, drinking cups and cups. Dan was in the kitchen, and Lao Feng sat somewhere else with him, sending him to eat without any fuss. After they had finished drinking together for several rounds, the woman moved her seat closer to Simon King, talked to him, and passed the wine to him. Then Simon King and the woman drank wine one by one. When no one came in, they put their arms round their necks and kissed her. The woman stretched her hands down and grasped the stem of Simon King's jade. They were so lustful that they stopped drinking. "Close the door and take off your clothes." The woman stretched out the quilt on the king bed inside. It was already evening when the sun was shining brightly in the west. Simon King took advantage of the wine to take out the silver holder from his bag and put it on. The woman was playing with her hands, and she saw the extravagant ribs dancing on her brain, which were bright purple, heavy, and very thick. Sitting in Simon King's arms on one side and on top of the other, they put their arms round each other's necks and kissed. The woman then crossed one of her legs and used her hands to guide the words into her vagina, raising both of them once. Simon King felt that the woman's skin was soft and greasy, and her hair was sparse. He ordered the woman to lie on her back on the bed, lifted her feet with both hands, placed them between her waist and eyes, and pumped her freely. "How could you see this cloud and rain? But see, the majestic green couch is charming, and the murderous mandarin duck quilt is trivial." Showing strength on the coral pillow, fighting bravely in the emerald tent. The man was so angry that he only stabbed his heart with the gun. The handsome woman was so anxious that she opened her mouth to eat her head. One wields the double cannon, going back and forth to attack the crotch soldiers. The other wields the round card, clamps up and down to greet the general. A golden rooster is independent, and its jade legs on stilts stimulate the spirit. A dead tree is packed with roots, and plum blossoms are poured into it to thorn the female. After a long battle, the starry eyes are dim, but the numbness comes up after a little movement. When the fight lasts for a long time, the waist is slim, and you can't defeat it after 100 battles. The master of Samaoke fell onto the bridge and released water to flood the army. General Wu Jia fired his gun and fled sideways for his life. The navel paste fell off the horse, and the flesh was trampled into mud in a moment. The warm and tight makeup was dull, and the horse fell to the bottom of the deep stream in an instant. The large draping is broken into pieces, just like the torn flowers in the heavy rain. The brocade head has been exhausted, just like the leaves blown away by the strong wind. The sulfur marshal, whose armor is crooked and scattered, has nowhere to go. The silver-armored general, who holds on to his old camp, is still alive. Exactly, the sorrowful clouds lifted up to the 9th level of the sky, and a group of defeated soldiers roll to the ground. It turns out that women have a problem whenever they have sex. They just need to teach the man to fuck the flowers in his back garden and rub her heart underneath. Otherwise, you won't lose your dignity just by asking. Even if Hondaguo is compatible with him, most of them go behind him, and there are only 2 or 3 people in front who can't leave in a month. The second thing was that he had been sucking cocks for many years, and kept his cock far away in his mouth. He had nowhere to go all night long. When asked why Miaowu came out, he couldn't help but lick and tease it, and he got up immediately. Since these Tachunner can be found in Simon King's heart. That day I kept pestering him until midnight before going home. The woman said to Simon King, "Dad, it will be early tomorrow. Let's take off our clothes and have fun during the day." Simon King was overjoyed. The next day, when I arrived at the shop on Shishi Street, I exchanged for taels of silver with Feng's mother, asked the girl to use her, and changed my name to Jenner. Simon King thought about this sweet thing, and 2 days later, he rode horseback to the woman's house for a walk. It turned out that Chess Tong and Diane were following him. When he arrived at the door, he ordered the chess boy to take the horse back to the Lion Street room. Feng's mother dedicated herself to carrying a pot of wine for him, buying things on the street, and sorting them out, and looking for some rapeseed to feed his family. When Simon came to King, he was entangled with a woman for 1 or 2 taels of silver. He comes during the day and doesn't go home until watch time. The iron barrels at home are similar to those hidden in the house. Mother Feng works hard at the woman's house every day, and goes to the house less often. Li Ping'er asked the servant to call him 2 or 3 times, but he had no time to spare, so he locked the door and left for the day. One day, the painting boy bumped into his mother-in-law and called her home. Li Ping'er said, "Mom has been missing all day long. What kind of errands are you doing?" I called her again, but she's not here. I can't come here for a walk. She's so busy. She left a lot of clothes to take care of the children. I'll wait for you to help the girls unpack and wash the bedding. I won't see you again. The mother-in-law said, "My grandma, you are right. The writer is a deserter, and I am now full of stories. The salt cellar, I am a carver. What kind of person am I?" Li Ping'er said, "Mom, you are not idle when I invite you. I don't know where the money I make all day long is." The woman said, "I have a strong wind that blows my cheeks and ears. Go, I can't keep up with my words here. How can I make money? You are annoying me, but you know that you are anxious to come here. If you don't come here again, I don't know what I am doing all day long." The ant behind me was with you from that time he asked me to bring him a pudian to worship Buddha. From outside the door, I just forgot about it. Yesterday, I remembered that the barbarian slave who sold pudian was gone again. How could I return him? Li Ping'er said, "You still dared to say that there is no tar, so you just believed in it and followed the monk. He gave you money, but you still don't buy his future. You are such a fool." The mother-in-law said, "When I tell the ant to go, I will give him the money. I almost lost his money when I was riding a mule yesterday." Li Ping'er said, "When you lose his money, you will die." Yay. The mother came all the way to the back and did not enter Yu Niang's room. She first walked under the kitchen to spy. I saw Yu Xiao and Lexing's daughter-in-law sitting together. When they met, they said, "Old Feng is here." "My lord, where are you coming? Your mother-in-law wants to chew your meat off, so she won't come anymore." The woman walked up to him, bowed twice, and said, "I just came in front of him and took his card. Now I'm back." Yu Xiao said, "Mom, I want to ask about the pudian you brought for him. How is your son?" The mother-in-law said, "I took the money outside the door yesterday, and the pudi seller sold it to his family. He won't come back until March next year. I still have the money here. Sister, just take it." Yu Xiao smiled and said, "It's weird, mother. Your father is still cashing money in the house. When he goes out, you should hand him over personally." He then said, "You just sit down. Let me ask you, did Mr. Han send his daughter off? How long has it been? Come back. When you come back, you will be blessed. He will thank you." The mother-in-law said, "Thank you or not, let him go. He has only been here for 8 days and he has to come to an end." Only then did I get home. After a while, Simon King cashed out the silver, and he and Bai Si took Chongzhen up and went out. The mother-in-law walked to the upper room and saw Yun Yang. She didn't dare to take out any money. She only said that Manzi had a few coarse grains, but they were all gone. She wanted to go home and bring double materials to Padian next year. Yun Yang is an honest person and said, "It doesn't matter. You still keep the money. Next year, I will only ask you for 2. She and the mother-in-law had tea and snacks. Later, he came to Li Ping'er's room. Ping'er asked, "Didn't your aunt scold you?" The mother-in-law said, "He liked it because of my hesitation. He gave me some tea and rewarded me with 2. A cake has been ordered." Li Ping'er said, "It's the same as yesterday when he went to Kiao's house to eat a full moon cake." "Mom, thanks for your talk. The mosquitoes in June were also crucified. Again, you're going to do the laundry with me today," she said. The mother-in-law said, "You clean up and ask for sex. I'll come early tomorrow morning." In the afternoon, I'll go to a familiar customer's house to do some work. Li Ping'er said, You old man. You have such nonsense. If you don't come tomorrow, I will answer you. The woman joked and walked away. Li Ping'er left him alone. You go and eat, the mother-in-law said. You're still full, so don't eat. I'm afraid Simon King went to Wang Liu's house, one step at a time. Exactly, the matchmaker is a little devil, smearing her lips back and forth. Walking thousands of steps a day only hurts my legs.
Alright, this part of the story ends here.
Want to know what happened next? Let's listen to the breakdown next time.